You're listening to Sacramento Smooth Jazz.
Welcome back to Sacramento Smooth Jazz. Today, I want you to brace yourselves for an extraordinary voyage into the world of musical brilliance. We are privileged to introduce an artist whose melodies transcend genres, painting vibrant soundscapes across gospel, jazz, and contemporary music. Born in the enchanting city of Heidelberg, Germany, and nurtured in the heart of Huntsville, Alabama, she embarked on a musical odyssey at a tender age of 5, with her first notes of piano lessons igniting her passion. Her journey took a serendipitous turn when the saxophone graced her world during her middle school years. Now, amidst a symphony of accomplishments and awards, she has etched her name in the annals of academic excellence. The tapestry of her educational journey boasts degrees from both Florida State and Tennessee State University, as well as a recent jewel in her crown, a PhD in music education from the esteemed University of South Florida. Everyone, allow me to introduce to you the one, the only, saxophonist Jazmin Ghent. Hello, Jazmin. Welcome to Sacramento Smooth Jazz. How are you today?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, gosh, that intro. Thank you so much. I'm humbled by those words. Thank you.
Hey, it's your journey. It's your journey indeed. And so we are thrilled to have you. Thank you for taking the time. I know you are super busy. We were graced with your presence in Stockton last week, and here we are having a conversation that we can share with our listeners. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Oh, my goodness. Last week was so much fun. And, that's why I do this. So it's to connect for my music, to hopefully connect with myself, and then ultimately connect with jazz lovers and people who appreciate jazz music, such as yourself. So thank you so much.
We're pleased and honored to have you. We had a great time. You are just amazing. Now let's get started here. Just 'cause we got a few minutes. You had a diverse, musical journey, starting with piano lessons at age 5.
Yeah.
And then embracing the saxophone during middle school. How did your early experiences with piano influence your approach to the saxophone?
Oh, my goodness. I was that kid playing piano in church, and I would play hymns. So my mom would give me like a starburst each week when I would learn, let's say, 4 or 5 hymns a week. And even, starburst can go a long way with a child. So as you see, like here I am now. But, I was that kid playing at Sunday school. And, I get like a little dollar from the deacons. But that's really what developed my ear, my appreciation for music. At one point, I even wanted to quit piano lessons. And I'm so grateful that my parents really pushed me to continue.
It's amazing when you have parents who push in the proper direction, and it's definitely allowed for you to hone, I would say, a masterful skill into what you're doing right now, and playing all over internationally, from major cruises to just, domestic events. You've done very well. And I see a list here, and I've seen a number of videos of you playing with so many people. I'm sure that experience playing with so many different types of people, different genres, going from gospel to jazz and contemporary, how has that shaped the way you write your music?
I think it's important to be versatile. I like to listen to different styles of music. I like my music to define me, who Jazmin is as a person. I grew up playing gospel music, so you're going to hear a gospel song on my CD. I love and appreciate Latin jazz, so you'll hear that on my CD. Pop songs. Like, I think whatever I listen to is on my music in any written works. So that has a big influence on my writing. And I'd like for my music to be diverse. So, because I think that represents the world and the people that listen.
I did notice a little bit of Latin flavor in some of your tracks, and it caught my attention. I was raised in that environment, so whenever I hear some of that infused into jazz, it catches my attention, no doubt. And so hearing it from you, I can tell it's not forced. You do that very well. It shows your versatility also. Now, from performing on Bobby Jones' Gospel Show to winning the 2014 Smooth Jazz Cruise Show Your Talent competition, you've navigated different musical realms. How do you find the balance between your gospel roots and your smooth jazz pursuits? And how do these influences converge in your performances, you feel?
That's my roots. I was in church trying to figure out what the choir was playing and trying to figure out what the guitar. And to the point where I at one point was copying the guitarist when I was in middle school. And he told the other musicians, like, hey, tell her to stop playing what I'm playing. But I say that because all of those are so important because it develops your ear. I think it has a big, even teaching. I love teaching as well. And all of that is about connecting with your audience. At church, the music that you hear the choir sing, it's connecting, talking about the story that people go through day to day. Funk music is a big part of what I like to listen to as well. So like all of that kind of fused together, I think that is a big, not only influence on my recorded music, but even live. I'm always about everyone having a good time.
We can definitely tell that, especially when you came on stage in Stockton. When you came on stage, it was like, okay, get ready. It's something happening here. And then you just went into, you got a little funky in there, your first set. It was just great, and I enjoyed it, capturing some video footage of that. And it was just really fun watching you and listening to you play. Now, with respect to your education, I see that you really enjoy educating the youth.
Oh my goodness.
Talk to us about that passion there, because there's something there that really pushes you, your passion to really infuse your gifts into the children. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I've always loved teaching. I have come to the realization with life, my purpose goes way beyond me. It's like, what are you leaving for the future of this world, for the future of this country, for the future of jazz and music? And I think that is the big picture. So even with my doctorate that I just got, I made a curriculum. I developed a curriculum introducing jazz to young kids, because so many people, the stigma that jazz is highbrow and it's for, fancy and that is not true. Jazz is all about improvising on the spot, creativity. Kids do it every day. Sometimes it's discouraged the older we get. And I'm all about embracing that. And I love teaching kids. I'm always joking with my husband and like, a kid did this today or a kid did that today. Things that make me so happy. And that, I think, is the true purpose, connecting those audiences. So from kids to people in their 20s and 30s, to people who are older as well. I think that's what we need in music and jazz music. Nice.
Now, speaking of your academic achievements, let's talk a little bit about that, because I notice here that with respect to that, you have an amazing academic, history here, from your accomplishments and the degrees from Florida State University, Tennessee State University, and now your doctorate. Here you are, you're weaving all of that in. Talk to us about how now you being a doctor of music education, now we can see that your level of music is going to a whole nother level. I'm sure also it includes your writing as well. What do you foresee now with respect to your, Dr. Ghent now? Thank you. Can we call you Dr.? Is it Dr. Ghent or is it Dr. Ghent Jackson? What's the appropriate title now?
I always say Dr. Ghent Jackson. I do like a hyphen. And I think I'm still processing, because it's been a month now since the graduation, almost a month. And, it was a lot of work that went behind that. Sometimes I'd sleep on the floor because if I was in the bed, I'd be too comfortable, like crazy things like that, which makes it all worth it. But within the last year, to answer your question, within the last year, I've been putting emphasis on, if I have a show, let's say in McKinney, Texas, I want to make sure I reach out to McKinney schools and the school system, work with high school students, elementary, middle school students, do seminars, workshops, and I've been doing that. That's really what I've been aiming towards this past year. And whatever credentials I need to have in order to make that happen, which in this case is the doctorate, has always been my philosophy to get that going, just so I meet whatever requirements to, facilitate workshops, seminars, whatever I can do to get kids into jazz.
That's phenomenal. I want to step back just a little bit, because I do want to acknowledge the fact that, yes, your hard work has paid off. I read your husband's post in regards to what you had to go through and how he congratulated you. And I thought that was amazing how he just saluted you in such a fashion, but also explained how your, endless nights of studying, researching, those nights that you fall asleep on the papers, researching, doing the hard work, in the midst of your touring, in the midst of life, and you've accomplished something great. So I want to say congratulations, Dr. Ghent Jackson, on your success and on your achievements, because I don't want to minimize that at all here at Sacramento Smooth Jazz. I think it's something that's notable.
Thank you so much. I'm so humbled by that. And he is extremely supportive. I think there's so many ways where, that made him so different from anyone I've ever talked to. He loves music. He has an album collection that puts me to shame. And then throughout, I mean, anything that he even said in that post, but he shows it. He's a man of action, and any gig or anything, usually you'll see him. He wasn't at this past one, but you'll usually see him at different gigs, and he's just right there, whether he's jamming in the audience to help with CDs. Just to have support from him and jazz supporters as well, like such as yourself. I don't take that lightly.
And I also want to give credit because you reaching out to the schools, prior to your events, in many cases where you want to talk to the schools and reach out to the kids, that's phenomenal. And that's not the norm. And so for you to do that really speaks volumes as to who you are and your passion in working with the kids. And you want to reach out no matter where you're going. And I think it's effective too when you're on tour and you're able to have the time to do that, to reach out wherever you're going. So that's phenomenal. So thank you for that. Thank you for touching our kids in a positive way to, bring music to them and to help them, because that's a lasting impression upon those children, no doubt.
Thank you. That's the goal, and the best way I can. With every gig, I strive to have a teaching element in there as well. So
nice. Now, your international exposure and performances in various festivals we talked about, including the 2019 Dave Koz cruise to Australia. I know that was fun. Now, that's taking your music across continents, no doubt. Can you share a memorable experience from the time, when you're on those global stages that left an impact on you? We talked about the kids, you leaving an impact on the kids, but what has been an impact on you throughout your musical journey when you're out there touring, going across different continents, things of that nature?
Well, I would say two instances. So the first one, when I did that Show Your Talent competition for the Smooth Jazz Cruise, that was in, oh my goodness, I want to say 2014. But here I am, I grew up listening to Marcus Miller and Brian Culbertson and Boney James. And so to meet these people and to speak with these people, not only as musicians, then just from, conversation, how welcoming and nice and kind they were, that had a big impact on my career, all about just enjoying myself and having fun with it. And then also, I was invited by the U.S. Embassy to play in Haiti. So, and what I did was, it was called the PAC Jazz, the Port-au-Prince International Jazz Festival. But I was invited to also do like the workshops and different seminars. And it was great because it was both ways. I was teaching about jazz and how that is in America, but then to learn about, they have like jazz, just different, like beautiful, like a rah-rah band, all these beautiful music elements that are there in Haiti. It was life-changing. So all those experiences, like you're saying, Dave Koz cruise, and we just went on one actually 2 months ago that went to Spain. And so like all of those come together and just have been life-changing, number one, and have inspired me to be better as a musician and person.
I'm glad you mentioned Haiti, because I was saying to myself, I want to talk a little bit about Haiti, and you just come out with it. So thank you for that. You're making my job pretty easy here today.
Oh, goodness.
And I want to talk about your experience and what impact it made on you, teaching out there in Haiti and performing out there. So thank you for sharing that. There's so many awards that we can talk about. There's so many accolades that we can choose to focus on, because you have so many. I'm so glad that you've given us a few minutes of your time to really interject into, to the listeners, a little bit about your experience and your pursuits, your passion, a little bit about your marriage, recently married, actually, right? So when did this happen?
Oh, well, as far as like when I met him or when we got married?
When you got married.
Okay. So we got married April 15th. And it's funny because we got engaged in August. So talk about a lot of life changes. You move, you get married, graduate school, lots of traveling in between that. So it happened very fast, but somehow we pulled off the wedding, I think. How many months is that? Maybe like 8.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less. So, and that was really fun too. We had some jazz artists come there too. Gerald Beasley was there. Like, it was so much fun.
Like, any plans on starting a family soon? Or any talk of that right now? Or we're like, hey, we're not even thinking about that right now, Michael.
Well, actually, we're enjoying the marriage now. So I'm sure someday we look forward to, expanding our family. Right now we have a dog who, he definitely puts us to work as well. But yeah, so we look forward to that someday in the future. Right now, probably trying to slow down a little bit and just enjoying the marriage.
As we get ready to close, I want to know, is there anything coming up on the horizon as far as projects you're working on right now?
Yes. Thank you for having me. And I'd like to say I have a new CD and single coming out, and that will be this fall. So please be on the lookout.
Fantastic. And how can people get in touch with you online, social media, websites? What do you have for us?
Everything is under my name. I didn't do anything too crazy. So it's under JazminGhent. And that goes for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even my website. It's Jazmin Ghent Music, JazminGhent music.com.
Now, what I want to do, and I typically ask artists to do this, is to introduce us as we leave here, introduce us to a song that you want our listeners to listen to. There's so many I can choose from, but just if you can just pick one that we want to just kind of go into as we exit this interview. What's a song that you want our listeners to hear right now?
You're just kicking it in your car, like jamming. This was my first number one, and the song is entitled Kicking It Up.
There you go. Well, I want to thank you so much for just hanging out with us for a few minutes today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and looking forward to the future.
Thanks for listening to Sacramento Smooth Jazz. To continue listening to Smooth Jazz 24/7, follow Sax Smooth Jazz on social media and listen by going to saxsmoothjazz.fm.